Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hindsight Podcast. Always a pleasure to have you back. And it's the first time I'm back on the podcast since the 2022 year started. And that is great because I haven't seen this guy on the podcast on the same set together. So that's great. IBK literally pushed everybody to make it on the podcast today because I had mechanic issues, first of all, and all that stuff. So it's good to be back. And we actually have missed every single one of you. So thank you so much for sticking with us all the time. Jide, welcome back to the podcast because you're actually supposed to host the podcast today. But my plans changed and Agbashu. No, good to have you, Jide.
Well, I mean, it's this is family, right? It's
first of all, can you give us one day in a month? Come record the podcast with us.
You have to do this on the camera.
Yeah, had to do it. Yeah, have to put it on the camera.
We're supposed to talk about this off cam, but I think this is family. I'd like to be here. I was supposed to be in that seat, but unfortunately, he kept on calling Muri. Kept on calling Wasiu. Those are the names of Saeed.
Muri, Benga. My mechanic's names. Nah, man. So what I normally do is you need to move the mic closer to yourself, right? So the people on Spotify don't swear for you. So what I normally do is end of the year or start of the year, I try to overhaul the car. A few things. Since we never get money to buy a new car, right? Try to make sure that, ball joints, the one way everything is all right. Yeah. But for some reason, this particular December was really chaotic for the mechanic. I think they had a lot of work and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still trying to figure out how my stuff is. Shout out to the people that have been borrowing me their cars to drive because they are lifesavers. It's good to have you as well, Kingsley.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I was going to call you Savior.
Well, apparently I had to save Jide's life while we were coming. So that's why you needed to call me Savior.
Nice. I know where I got that from. Because there's a guy I work with on radio. I think his name is Savior. Something like that. Funny thing is actually
who names people Savior? Like a human being is Savior.
There's Thanksgiving. There's
No.
There's deliverance.
Okay.
Yeah.
See the honest they do.
But
I know person they bear Thanksgiving. There's deliverance.
Thanksgiving and deliverance is better than stones.
Nothing can beat,
and sand.
Nothing beats drink water.
Drink water.
Do you get there's no name that can surprise me more than drink water.
So what if that was an experience? Maybe the mom was about pushing, and they said, "Madam, drink water."
This don't get sense.
But you know the guy nickname.
No. Original name.
Are you name? You don't know
drink water. I know that drink water, but I feel say maybe at some point, some people could also say, "Man, follow my nickname."
No. The mom really couldn't push out.
I'm trying
and she needed to drink water.
Guys, there's this name I'm trying to remember.
Funny
because I watched the United game with this young man. It was I did try to rack my brain, but I never heard that name before. Is his name that's like a phrase,
right?
Yeah, so I think it was like "We thank the Lord" or something. I'm serious. That was his name.
So I tell you what, as far as names go, I've learned to accept everybody's names the way it is because you really don't have you can't control that. But IBK, real pleasure to have you back.
Bro.
So the thing is, we recorded last week for some reason. The files got corrupt immediately we finished recording.
Spiritual warfare.
How many people were on that shoot?
4.
Name them.
4. I'll tell you after the show.
So we can know if we have one of them.
No. Trust me, I've vetted everybody. Okay. And we're good. So in case we don't get anything today, you're the
That's why I asked for the names of
everybody. You get it. Pleasure to have you back. I wanted to speak about the obviously the Nations Cup has been pretty much what everybody's been speaking about, and we actually wanted to do a real 1 month special for the Nations Cup. We couldn't quite do it. Starting from last week, of course, that episode got corrupted. But let's start off with from a personal experience. I have been, obviously, myself and you have been working on the Nations Cup for terrestrial TV. It's kind of taken my mind away from every other thing. I don't even remember what the Premier League table looks like or the La Liga table looks like. Luckily for me, they're on break. Yeah. I can go back to my Premier League show soon. But what's it been like for you, working on the Nations Cup? And does it feel like, because myself and you did the Nations Cup in 2019 as well. Does it feel better?
Yeah, football-wise, yes. The new teams from 2019 were not this solid.
Right.
There was no Comoros in 2019, but I think we had like all those people that used to sing Casablanca.
Madagascar,
Madagascar.
Yeah.
They were not this solid, right? They were good, they were decent, but these Comoros boys are the ball.
Yeah.
Comoros, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, Zimbabwe, Equatorial Guinea. Those boys, from the personal angle, those boys they've taught everybody life lessons that sometimes in football, big names sometimes play the game. But we've seen boys who earn £300,000 a week get dragged by some low-level boy in the 4th division of Belgium.
Yeah.
in this African Cup of Nations. And being on
is that down to the heat or something like that?
Yeah,
because I followed your Twitter space, and North Africans have said, look, the heat is always a factor, but the games are now more in the nights now. So, I mean, I hate to replicate cliches or re-emphasize them, but can that be a problem in football? The heat. Is that something that you can really say? You can look back and say that was a valid excuse. Yeah, because I think it is.
You have a point, really. But there's this guy on the live show as well, Babatunde Koiki. Great guy, by the way. Shout out to him. He did point out something, guys, that all the first games, all the early kickoff, none of them had goals all through the first round.
Yeah,
there were serious struggles. You could tell. But again, the flip side,
and the referee had a heat stroke as well.
Yeah, heat stroke as well. That one said he wanted to answer nature's call. That's a funny man.
But you guys are bashing the referee on your stuff.
Yeah, but
why is that?
He said he has heat stroke, right? He said he wanted to answer nation's call. Nation's call.
It's a good thing I remember it now, because I remember on your spaces you weren't too pleased with the referee's performance, something like that.
Yeah.
But I have a different opinion, because I feel like the referee, if in the end, referees are human beings, right?
True.
And if for any reason they don't feel comfortable or they don't feel like 100% to execute the job they've been given, then we have to grant them some concessions.
True.
Because if you watch the tape back, at the point the referee started struggling. So the camera guys played some tapes back, and it was clear that the guy started struggling even before he blew the first final whistle.
Yeah.
So I think that we're a bit unfair on the referee in the first 24 hours after that thing happened. So I'm happy to maybe let people know now that wasn't an African thing. The referee was clearly struggling from whatever was nature's call, or the heat was.
So why did he not signal to the bench? There's always a fourth official.
Sometimes it's pressure. That was the first round.
You can let them know that, I'm not feeling too good, because it's the Africa Cup of Nations. The whole world is watching. Why would you wait until you now goofed?
About the guy blew twice.
And then
sometimes
twice.
Football players. So Sadio Mane, for example, Sadio Mane's concussion in the last game. I think that was Senegal. I think it was Senegal.
Was it Comoros?
Comoros, yeah. No.
It wasn't Comoros.
That was Senegal, Syria.
That was Senegal, Cape Verde.
Cape Verde.
So Mane they go into a clash of heads and stuff like that. Normal thing with players, and we say it all the time, we like players that tough it up, get up and go, keep going.
Yeah.
So why doesn't the same rule or the same parameter apply for the referee? Because the referee also is thinking, this is a job I've been given to do. I want to brave it up rather, and keep going.
For the players, one player cannot determine what will happen in a football match. You can only do that if you are Messi, Ronaldo, and then you grab the game by a scruff of his neck. For the referee, it takes decision for everybody. So if you know that the decision of this particular game, either a team will win, lose, or draw, stops at your table, then you need to let them know that, see, it's worrying me, something is happening, there's heat stroke coming, let's get someone else who can get the job done.
Yeah.
And not you struggling. You blew the final whistle first time, 85th minute, and they told you about it. Even the red card that he had to give out to was not too good, and then you now ended the match before even the 90th minute.
Right.
So I yes, we might say cut the referee some slack and say it could happen to anybody, heat stroke and all of that. Yeah. But immediately you noticed that maybe instead of seeing 2, you are seeing 4. Instead of seeing yellow, you are seeing green. Yeah. You signal to the fourth official.
So that is great. I like the amount of goals we've seen ABK in the latter stage. I think, and I've always said it's almost like lazy criticism to make on the AFCON. You say, because if you watch the AFCON for at least 5 editions, you know that the start of the tournaments there is a bit of a getting used to it.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
The pitches are not great.
Yeah.
The weather is probably not the best as well. The organization would not be as top notch as well. So you can expect that the players start to struggle a little bit, get used to the rhythm, settle into their hotels. And on this podcast, we talk about, football, we all know that already, is maybe 20% what happens on the pitch and 80% what happens off it. Preparations, everything, mind states, all that stuff.
And so before I begin answering the question, I'm sorry, UV, did anybody see the picture of Sadio Mane and that goalkeeper? The
at the hospital.
Was that an hospital? That's a shop.
Yeah, so you see that's not even great too.
That's a shop.
And
That's a terrible sight.
I kind of left it out, but I felt like
don't give them bad PR.
So the thing about the pod is that we're not going to call it bad PR. If something is not right, it helps nobody
to hide it
under.
Yes,
it helps nobody, because I think that CAF's concussion protocol there was a bit shaky.
They were not expecting anything.
Because the moment Mane and that guy had a clash of heads, the goalkeeper was clearly all over. He was literally staggering.
Yes.
You get Mane also probably should not have been allowed to continue the game.
True.
You know, so going back to the Euros, the moment Christian Eriksen fell, that was a disaster that we averted just by whiskers.
Yeah.
I think that should be a turning point for concussion protocols in African football. If there's a clash of heads, someone needs to go off. They need to go off immediately, regardless of how they try to brave it up. Which is why I go back to one of the nicer innovations in football, where somebody suggested sin bins, right?
Yeah.
Mane can go off 10 minutes. If it's okay, bring him back.
Bring him back.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I feel like, football can really use that.
Because
it doesn't make sense, if you have a concussion. Those concussion subs need to now happen. They need to happen. But I was going to ask you, the goals have started flying in. Unfortunately, Nigeria is not there to be a part of all of that. But when you look back at it, right, it is important to realize that a tournament is the harder part happens after the group stage, right?
Knockout.
And we got it wrong from the get-go. And is there any blame is there any sort of responsibility that we have to take from a fan perspective of creating an unnecessary frenzy around the team? Because I think that, to be honest, we got a bit ahead of ourselves there.
Well, I think blaming the fans is quite unfair because
I don't think it was blaming the fans.
No, not blaming the fans.
No, you talked about maybe the role of fans.
Yeah,
I think you can't talk about that because these same guys are the one that have been behind the team all through the group stages. That's the truth. Regardless of how we've been playing and all those things, people still talk good about the Super Eagles. I think the coach has a lot of blame because he didn't prepare well for the knockout stages. That's the truth. He didn't expect a tweak from the Tunisian side. I've always said that it's someone that should go with his winning team. Yes, fine. But when you start seeing a problem, that's why you're a tactical. They call you, the tactical manager and all that. You have to find a solution to it. Moses Simon's side was obviously, there was a problem there already. And all through the tournament, I said it that why are they not also using Samuel Chukwueze's side? Why is he always Moses? So it's like giving
Samuel has been. I think at the moment, I don't take Samuel to the
world. Samuel was not at the AFCON.
No. It's like giving somebody.
He was not
if
at
I
the
give you
AFCON.
Expo now, UB, after I'll take this one and two, go write the exam. You obviously do well. You watch Nigeria's game.
I didn't understand what you said, but
I'm coming. You watch Nigeria's game, and the easy part where it has been happening has always been Moses Simon.
If I was a coach, Abigail just told the one that he passed the exams.
If I was a coach, if I was a very good coach, I don't need to think twice. The coach, the Tunisian coach didn't do. It's not that he did something, he did magic or something. Just double team. Don't let him play, and that was the end. So it was very easy for them.
If you say you had to blame the coach, I feel that might be too harsh, knowing fully where we're coming from. From the Janet Raw last two games, we lost against CAR at home, drew against Cape Verde. If they had scored the next goal, maybe we'll not be talking about going to the World Cup right now. And then you now find a new manager who comes on board and then makes the Super Eagles play expressive football.
So does that now mean...
No, for that,
yes.
the fans necessarily will buy into it, and then the frenzy, the excitement will come up.
When did this narrative start that we're playing expressive football?
No,
this Nations Cup.
I think
just the Nations Cup.
We need to piggyback to the very point where we all started accepting that we play.
Especially football, it was this Nations Cup.
So first game Nations Cup, right? First game Nations Cup, we play Egypt.
Yeah.
That was far from free flowing.
No, from where we're coming from, the General days. That was expressive.
To be honest,
it was expressive.
General Eagles.
General became a nightmare to watch in the end, right?
But it didn't start it particularly special in the first place.
It was never scintillating or anything like that. But the way the narrative shifted, that we're now all of a sudden we were a flamboyant team.
It could also relate to that thing you said about the expectation on the side of the fans, because they were the one who are weaving these rhetorics. They've been the one weaving the conversation. Guavo is this, give us Germany, take us to the Premier League. Where's Brazil?
Tunisia now.
They give us Tunisia, we collect. But I think you made a very good point. I mean, he made a very good point when he mentioned something about expressive. He also made a very decent point when he mentioned the coach. But I don't think I want to blame Eguavoen. Here's my thing, right? Moses Simon was the gem of the team. Barcelona will always play through Messi. They will not change. So when Messi is not working, they'll probably just, okay, what can Ansu Fati bring in? What can Pedro give me? But it was Messi way or no way. So yes, we are not Messi, we are not Barcelona, but he tried to do in the comparative advantage, which is Moses Simon is my go-to guy. Where he messed up was the fact that he wasn't proactive and he wasn't reactive. He went in there with okay, Moses Simon, Alpha and Omega. Do the magic as usual. But when they doubled on him, you saw it in the first half. Do something. But again, we also have to understand, finally, let me just touch on this finally, that every player of the Super Eagles on that match day turned up thinking they had won the game.
And I love the fact that you make that point, because it is the same thing I wanted to say. We keep talking about Moses Simon, and I'm wondering
everybody thought they had
why
won
do we
that
speak about
game.
Moses Simon? Honestly, the way I watched the game is
based on comparison.
For a guy like Moses Simon, he had a good game against South Sudan. What's the fuss about that? Oh, sorry, Sudan. What's the fuss about Sudan?
Guinea-Bissau.
Dribble a couple of people.
Yeah, Guinea-Bissau.
It's Guinea-Bissau, for God's sake.
Yeah.
For heaven's
Egypt,
sake.
yeah.
So, with all due respect, I have no respect, but
no disrespect.
No disrespect. It's Guinea-Bissau, it's Sudan.
Yeah.
The moment a football, and I think this, you can never.
But he played well against Egypt as well.
Yeah, who played well before?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
He got ball out
when a
against
footballer
Egypt.
goes into the team and plays well, do you give him like? Do you put an arm around his shoulder and say for playing well? You play well for your family, for yourself, for your football club, for your country,
for your career.
Do you understand? So this idea that we played well is a favor. You don't play well before.
You got ball out well.
But, so I was talking about Chukwueze. By far, in my opinion, maybe one of the most disappointing players. But because he's a young player, I wouldn't bash him too much. Wilfred Ndidi, for all the talk about him and where he ranks as far as midfielders in world football goes, the guy needs to look at himself twice. He has never really pulled the strings for Nigeria. And I hate to say it, because when you watch a guy like him, you're thinking you need to be the enforcer of the team. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Ndidi's tournament in Nigeria for the Nations Cup is a disaster. When he looks at it back, hold on. The Egypt game, if Ndidi doesn't do that job, who will do it? On Salah. If he doesn't do it, who will do it? So this idea that he had a good game against Salah, of course, Salah played through the middle. That is his direct opposition. He had to do a good job.
Yeah.
The goal Egypt scored, rather Tunisia scored, and I keep saying the people keep blaming Maduka Okoye. And you can have a banter at him. I'm not one for that. But Ndidi is the main culprit for that goal. The main culprit for the goal, because Ndidi sees Ola Aino getting shoved off the ball. He starts approaching, what's the guy's name? Nsakni. The moment he goes in there, he's going with, it's either I get the guy down or the guy cannot take a shot.
Yeah.
He goes in there with a half-hearted challenge and lets the guy go. He's the most senior player in the team, should be the leader of the team. He doesn't wear the armband, but he lead the team.
Yeah.
So what do we give him? What do we give him credit for? Why is he Ndidi? Why is he the guy that's in the same stats with Kante and Ijibia and what?
I know the other guys.
So in my
Before I
opinion,
add to that, let's
terrible performance.
I think first, you don't go for any coaching course, because your players will go against you eventually. You are too strict. if you are a lecturer, you be. One day they will find you. At least, see, if you are, I think we expect too much from Ndidi. We've forgotten that this guy is.
Please don't say he's still young.
No.
Okay.
He's a defensive midfielder.
Okay.
He made mention of that scenario where Tunisia got the goal.
Yes.
That was the only part I can say that all through the tournament they shouldn't have allowed that guy, shoot that ball, which can happen in football. Even in N'Golo Kante and all, they concede goals. But in terms, I feel that Ndidi has done his primary objective, and that's to intercept passes, shield the backline, mark, do. But I think between
Aribo and who had a better tournament?
Ndidi.
Okay. In that game,
Kingsley, same question for you. Aribo or Ndidi? Who are the better tournaments?
Haribo. That one is not even.
Who are the better tournaments?
Haribo too.
Haribo.
If a kid, no, hold on a sec. If you come on this podcast, right, and have a better show than me, I have to look at myself twice.
There's a problem.
Right.
I even need to ask. I need to ask
hold
IDK
on
a question.
Hold on a sec. If a kid, you have to get used to this thing. If a kid comes into the national team and has a better performance in the most important tournaments than the more established player, the established player has to look at himself.
But what is no,
What is the
major?
So what's the fault about you?
Which goal knocked the Super Eagles out of the AFCON?
You guys,
The Sackney strike.
Right.
Who was the main culprit for that particular strike?
I'll blame the keeper. I'll blame
Who allowed the shot?
He's lazy.
You can't say who allowed the shot. What are you saying?
It is lazy criticism.
Who allowed that shot?
You can't say this.
Remember, see, a few days before that match, Chelsea played Man City.
And
something
Kante
like that
made the same mistake.
Kante tried to even clear De Bruyne's legs. Like, he knew what would happen. I didn't see that kind of effort.
And Rufai watches and see.
Yeah, I didn't see that kind of effort from Wilfred Ndidi.
I told Rufai, that Kante has to take the L for that goal. Because you don't, when the game is being played, that's not when the game starts. With the amount of information that players have nowadays, Ndidi must know
that this guy,
that Nsakni is the guy that shoots from range. And he must know that the moment he has shoved Aina away, the next thing he's going to do is to let fly.
To shoot.
So the way when he's coming to Ndidi, when he's coming to Nsakni, he has to hack him
just
down.
take him down. Take a yellow card for the
hack
team.
him down.
Now, I think we're also forgetting something.
And also, he played 5 years at the top level in the Premier League, and he's still that limited on the ball. He has to look at himself. He's so limited on the ball.
I think we're forgetting something too. When we talk about players, as much as we can be very critical, I feel that the coaches have, their own place too. When you see your team either struggling or individual players struggle in any football match, as a coach, you need to do something.
What do you want?
For Iguavon, let's take it back to, say, maybe 22 years ago. Ghana, Nigeria, 2000. A semi-final match against South Africa. I like making reference to it because it's talk. Bonfrey Joe, Tijani Babangida played on the right side of our attack, and Finidi George. He comes in for Finidi. For that semi-final, he said he was going to start Tijani Babangida, not on the right, but on the left. Babangida said, no, I've been playing all my life on the right. He said, no, McFish cannot run. McFish cannot be body, like we say. Go at him. Give the ball to Tijani. He'll get the goal. I think under 20 or 25 minutes, we're leading 2-0. Guess who scored both goals? Tijani Babangida. Now, for a manager or a coach, a Guavon, you have seen the first 20 minutes and you've seen that your team were struggling. What would you have done if it were to be myself? What I'll just do is very simple. On the left side, we are playing Moses Simon. He's not doing anything. What's your name? Taiwo Awoniyi. Go to that left. Kelechi Iheanacho top strike. Maybe Moses Simon play behind him. Or Samuel Chukwueze come in there. Just change something. And let's see the next 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Bro, what you are saying now, the problem in that game was our creativity. So you can't bring it down to Ndidi. No,
we're just picking. We
didn't create enough in that game. True. So do you expect Ndidi to start creating when you have Aribo, you have Iheanacho?
Unfortunately, you have to take his own blame.
What is Ndidi's
Unfortunately, see guys, I hate one thing, which is not talking about a player that is not there. I have this feeling. I watched that game again 2-3 days ago, right? And me, I don't know, but it's another conversation. But I'm going to blame outrightly Maduka Okoye. That's even part of it. That's different.
Thank you.
No, I see your agenda against Okoye.
But no, it's not even an agenda.
But it's not an agenda per se.
Yeah, it's not
right.
an agenda. Yeah, but I'm going to blame him. But but my point is, did we not miss Ogeneka Red Table in that game?
Not necessarily. I think that's looking for. That's looking for oil.
No. What I'm saying is that, and I'm not saying, of course, we can't undo what has been undone, right? Sorry, we can't undo what has been undone. Sorry,
we can't undo what has done.
You will see on the ground. Yes, you see it on the timeline.
Yeah, but bottom line, guys, is that I have a feeling that if it wasn't a Joe Aribo on that pitch, Etebo gives us something Ndidi doesn't. Ndidi is a bit of class.
He's limited. He's limited.
Etebo for me is a grafter. You know,
but how do you extra?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. All these things happen in
Shady boy
football.
no go shoot.
I don't understand. You want me to get 100?
If that didn't lead to a goal, I don't think I have issues with Ndidi. I also have my issues with Maduka Okoye. I have my issues with Maduka Okoye. I'm sharing the blame.
That shot was straight at that keeper.
I'm sharing the blame. Who allowed the shot?
IBK, you don't ever keep before.
I don't keep before. Right. And they keep at the strike. Go out there for my school.
Great.
Which school?
Which school?
Ask them for you last. My medal, I tell you, I get like 10 medals.
IBK, you go bring the medal next week.
Yeah, I'll go find them.
If you don't bring that medal, come here next week.
You don't go enter show.
You don't go enter this week.
You can find out for sports cabinet. You can find out for sports cabinet.
I mean, you all.
IBK, the only thing gay line.
IBK want to lie.
I'm only the one show.
IBK sit down here.
You go to drop lamba.
That's IBK sit down here.
You get one lamba when you drop one, you a Ferrari.
You say it's not go for.
Hey, go for the wrong pass. Go for the wrong pass.
But let's just finish up on this because this can go on for forever,
eternity,
right?
really.
If Ndidi were 10 yards or let's say 20 meters away from the ball, maybe it was a counter attack and he was jogging back and he didn't meet up, no problem.
Yeah.
Right. But you must know the most important player on the pitch of the other team. Right. Ndidi is our most experienced player.
That's one of the primary things actually. What you just mentioned.
Yes.
You must know the most important player on the other team.
Yes.
The most important player on that team is Nsakni.
Yeah.
You get. There should be no point in a knockout game Nsakni doesn't have eyes. Like you should feel like eyes are watching him.
Yes.
So I'm going to sit down here on this show and not blame somebody for that. He's a professional football player. There's a reason I don't play the game. There's a reason I don't. There's a reason I don't wear Nigeria's jersey.
This is why you are talking and they are playing.
You understand? Yeah. So, of course, I have to put that on somebody's table. So this idea that we can watch football games and completely
exonerate
some people because they are a fan favorite. Yeah. No, it's not going to happen.
The point is that you've not talked about the keeper. That's where I'm.
I will talk about
Maduka Okoye has taken his own blame. Let's Ndidi to take his.
But the thing is,
and the manager to take his.
But the
thing with Maduka Okoye is that I have a problem when we don't necessarily do the right things because it always blows over at the end.
Yeah.
So Maduka Okoye's problem is not necessarily the game. But it is a feeling that he maybe doesn't necessarily deserve to be there. Right?
At this time.
So everything you're seeing in the media from professionals and people who know a bit about the game is not necessarily. I've spoken to a couple of people. They don't necessarily have a problem with him. But the fact that how did you get to the point you got to?
Yeah.
I was speaking to a couple of people on set and they mentioned that, look, this kid had no senior appearance for club until he played for Nigeria. You have to question the process.
Division 4.
Things like
Division
that.
4.
And this is not you hating on the kid.
Yep.
But when you replace meritocracy and you springboard people to the top, you short circuit the system.
Yeah.
And what happens is that the moment they make a first mistake that should normally be overlooked, or a mistake that their process can back up, they fall back because people say the guy didn't have any process.
Yeah.
So that's what Maduka Okoye is suffering now. And I see what Jide is saying, and he's going to speak about this shortly, about a journalist writing and having an agenda for him to get to where he's gotten to. And you can do that because, I mean, it's a job in the end.
Yeah.
But we have to also be fair to the people who are working their ass off to get into those positions.
I must commend how you just put this down. I'll just probably just touch on one or two things, right? I mean, there's no problem supporting people's hustle. That's just the truth. But Yubi and I have known for 10 years? I've known Wale for 12, 15. When it comes to some opportunities, that's just life. There are some people that I will call immediately.
Yeah.
Because of talent, I'm looking straight into the camera, because of talent, because of merit, and because I know when push comes to shove, they are the men.
Yeah.
And then I also now look at where they are coming into. Are they better than those people? Then I'm like, okay, UB is not, this person is better than UB. Okay, that is fair.
Not many people are.
Exactly. Just putting it out there. Now, the question, guys, is you're watching this show, you think they're beefing Maduka Okoye, but my question to you is, at the time Maduka Okoye came into that team, was he visibly, that's the English.
Yeah.
Nobody should come and be dragging me. Was he visibly better than anybody? Maduka Okoye was not better than Akpeyi. Yes, Akpeyi was not a fan favorite. Nobody liked him, but when it came to, he had his own bad days. But it wasn't. You cannot bring a goalkeeper that was 4th division. He had no professional cap. It's a slap on the face of everyone that has done that jersey. So the guy came in. I mean, and again, I don't care. If you think it's beef, then I'm sorry. But the truth has to be the truth. The guy came in from, no disrespect, nowhere. Yes, he's playing for Watford these days. But the question is, at the time of him making his first appearance, where was he? And then you shove Uzo aside, you shove Akpeyi aside. The problem is not shoving off aside. Yeah, that's the point.
If he's clearly better than them.
If he was, that's my...
And he's not.
God bless you guys.
No, he's clearly better than them. So that's the problem.
Yeah. Was he better? At the time he was coming, was he better? Is he better now? No.
He's not. Now, see where...
Does he deserve to be there? No. Will he get better by the future? Oh, yes.
Probably.
He's 22.
Let him wait.
He has green grass, lush green grass in front of him.
Which is the question. So why the rush? You get? So why the rush?
Now,
so we actually have to leave this conversation.
Just one more thing. The most experienced goalkeeper that we have there is the man from South Africa, Akpeyi. And then we don't give him the opportunity. I don't care. But I've seen games.
He had his time last Nations Cup as well.
I've seen games.
Hey, they're blaming me for Riyad free kick.
We had players too who did not do well.
People are blaming for that free kick.
The last AFCON was the team captain, Ahmed Musa, was he fantastic? He also made this AFCON too.
Musa was old. He was old in the last AFCON.
He was old in the last AFCON, and he still made this one too.
Musa was in the last AFCON.
For Akpeyi, we've seen games in South Africa.
31.
Okay.
How old are you? How old are you?
Football
Me, I'll be
age.
30 now.
Okay.
30, right?
Okay.
So you just pass the test, because the point is that sometimes for football players playing in Africa, you have to still realize the dream.
Yeah.
And this is not me. This is not me backing up falsifying of age or anything like that. Because if somebody watches the podcast, they say, "Oh, that's your innuendo."
Absolutely.
You get.
Absolutely.
So we have to understand our peculiarities.
Yeah.
If you're chasing a dream, and sometimes you have to break the rules to do it. This is not me saying that's the right thing to do. But the people who have done it and succeeded, you have to cut them some slack, don't you? Do you understand? What we can now do going forward, we encourage the system that allows people from the very beginning to go into football. So there's merit. And I said this thing. I said this thing on. I've been trying to remember the episode. I said it before. The moment I think it was about Nigerian football. The moment it was about. We're speaking about Iyimba. We're speaking about Iyimba and what's his name? It was this guy. No. The coach of Rivers.
Stanley Guma.
Yeah, I think one of the coaches moved from Iyimba to go and assistant.
It was Fatai Osho and Stanley Guma. Under Stanley Guma.
Yeah. The problem with us is we're not building institutions, and we're not building. What's the word? We're not building fail-safes. So we move pieces across board, destroying the fabric of the system, if there's any system. When you do what was done for Maduka Okoye, what you are doing is short-circuiting the value chain of the system. Because you have to realize that everything works better if there is a proper ecosystem.
Indeed.
So if tomorrow Jide, it never probably happen because Jide is one of the best presenters around. If tomorrow there's a gig to be done, and I like using real examples, and Jide is clearly the best man to host that gig, and you propel somebody else to do that gig ahead of Jide, and that's also good. But best be sure that the person can do that job better than Jide.
Yeah.
Because the moment the person fails at doing that job, we have to now recheck, go back to how they got there in the first place.
That's why I wanted to mention Akpeyi. Because I've seen games in South Africa. Yes, we know Akpeyi has his off days, but I've seen games where he single-handedly earned his team either 3 points or 1 point. Who says that the match against Tunisia might not have been one of those games where Akpeyi would have just been man of the match? Save that goal from Sakni and then save another one, and then we get into penalties and then he wins us the game.
Right. Let's move away from that.
Yep.
Just to wrap this up. Nothing personal with Okoye. I think he actually made a fantastic save after that goal.
A similar one, actually.
Yes, a similar one.
And he went with two hands.
I'm not a goalkeeper pro, so I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure what hands he used to do this thing.
And eventually, just to put it out again, I mean, We are pro Nigeria, so we believe and trust that. I mean, his career trajectory, give it to him.
Yeah.
Is high up there. 4th division. I think he won player of the year at Eredivisie, I think, at the point.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper of the year for Rotterdam. So you can see that he's propelling, he's going higher, but again, that also doesn't justify anything.
Now he's in the Premier League.
Yeah, he is in the Premier League. So we wish him the very best, and of course, we also wish that it will come good for Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's go to the World Cup.
Great stuff. So,
Always a pleasure to have you on the Hindsight Podcast. Subscribe, like, comment. We'd just like to have your thoughts shared on the Hindsight Podcast. It's great fun for us recording this one, and we also love to hear from you as well. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your messages, your comments. See you again in the next episode.